Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we are discussing the first chapter in biology for class 10 students. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit on the bell icon and enable the option all to get the new videos. So let's get started. In this chapter we are studying about sensations and responses. What are sensations and how the responses will occur? We can study it in detail. In your textbook, the lesson itself begins with a picture. In this picture, we can see children were playing, isn't it? Observe the picture carefully. What you can see, a child is tasting a mango, a snail withdrawing its body into the shell when it is touched. What they can feel? The child tasting a mango, she can experience very sweeter the mango is. The boy who touches on the snail can see the body of the snail withdrawing into the shell of it. Thus we can say the snail respond towards the touch the boy had given. To every action there will be a response will occur. From this we can analyze what are the factors to which the children and other organisms respond here. What are they? Taste and touch we are discussed above. Likewise, hunger, thirst are also some stimuli which can cause some responses towards it. Then we need to know what are stimuli or what is a stimulus. The senses that evoke responses in organisms are called stimuli. What are stimuli? The senses that evoke responses in organisms are called stimuli. Stimuli is the plural of stimulus. Once more, we can say the senses that evoke responses in organisms are called stimuli. We can recognize the stimuli not only from the external surroundings or our immediate surroundings. We can also recognize them from our body itself, or from body also we can recognize the stimuli. Some examples are hunger, thirst, other than touch and taste. We are saying the term stimuli from the beginning itself. Now we want to know how the stimuli received by our body, or how does our body receive stimuli. Here two diagrams are given in our textbook and marked as specialized cells that receive stimuli. That is the cell located in our tongue and also in our eye. By seeing these pictures, what we can understand? There are specialized cells in the sense organs, isn't it? How many sense organs do we have? We have 5 sense organs. So there are specialized cells in the sense organs and other parts of the body to receive stimuli. So how our body receives stimuli? Specialized cells. These specialized cells are known as receptors. They receive the stimuli and generate suitable impulses. What they do? They receive stimuli and generate suitable impulses. Then we have to know how the responses occur. Normally the responses occur when the impulses generated by the receptors on receiving the stimuli reach the brain. Once more, please listen. There are specialized cells in the sense organs and other parts of the body to receive stimuli. These cells are known as receptors. The receptors receive the stimuli and their response occur when the impulses generated by the receptors on receiving the stimuli reach the brain. These actions were controlled and coordinated by our nervous system. The nervous system controls and coordinates these actions. Here in the textbook, in a diagram showing nervous system, which consists of brain, spinal cord and nerves. The nervous system consists of brain, spinal cord and nerves. Do you understand what we have studied yet? What we have studied? Stimuli, receptors, impulses. In the previous slide, we have seen the diagram showing the nervous system or the structure of a nervous system, and we have to study it in detail. Neuron or nerve cell is the basic structural unit of a nervous system. What are neurons? They are the basic structural unit of the nervous system. They do have the cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus like that of other cells. Here in our textbook, a structure of neuron is given. This is a cell body from which a longer strand is arisen, which ends in synaptic knob. Observe the picture, the diagram showing cytoplasm, cell body, nucleus, from which some other parts are also labeled. What are they? Axon, axonite, dendron, dendrite, Schwann cell, synaptic knob. What are they? Axon is the longest filament from the cell body and it functions as it carries impulses from the cell body to outside. Then axonite. What are they? What are axonites? The branches of the axon is called axonite. It carries impulses to the synaptic knob. You have to know what is synaptic knob. It is the tip of the axonite. It secretes neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter, keep it in mind, we can discuss it later. Some other parts also, dendrite, branches of dendron. What the dendrite do? It is the part that receives impulses from adjacent neuron. The impulses from the dendrite reaches dendron and this dendron carries impulses from dendrites to the cell body. Schwann cells are nothing but it encircles the axon. Once more, what are the parts of the neuron? Axon, axonite, dendron, dendrite, synaptic nerve and Schwann cell. Then comes a new word, myelin sheath. What are myelin sheath? Axons of the most of the neurons are repeatedly encircled by myelin, a membrane containing lipid. That is, a lipid membrane repeatedly encircles the axons to form myelin sheath. Formation of myelin sheath is given in the picture. What we can understand? The axon, the central yellow part, which is covered repeatedly by myelin sheath. And also there will be Schwann cells encircles the axon. If there is a question, which part of the neuron carries impulses from the cell body to outside? You answer axon. It is axon which carries impulses from the cell body to outside. Which part carries the impulses from dendrites to the body? It is dendron. So what are neurons? Neurons or nerve cell is a basic structural unit of the nervous system. Like all other cells, the neuron has a cell membrane, cytoplasm and also nucleus. We analyze the structure of the neuron. There will be cytoplasm, cell body, nucleus, axon, axonite, dendron, dendrite, Schwann cell, synaptic nerve. In the previous slide, we heard a term Schwann cells and also oligodendrocytes. What are they? Oligodendrocytes and Schwann cells provide protection to the neurons. Who constructs myelin sheath? Oligodendrocyte constructs myelin sheath. And how they construct the myelin sheath? Constructs the myelin sheath by covering the different axons simultaneously or by covering the different parts of the same axon repeatedly. So, the oligodendrocyte constructs myelin sheath by covering the different axons simultaneously or by covering the different parts of the same axon repeatedly. In myelin sheath, how they made? They are made up of Schwann cells which are seen in axons in nerves. So the myelin sheath is made up of Schwann cells. Where they are seen? They are seen in axons in nerves. Schwann cell encircles the axon repeatedly. We know nerve is a group of axons. Myelin sheath in the nerves is formed of Schwann cells. We said before, the myelin sheath has shiny white color. Which color the myelin sheath was? It has a shiny white color. We have to study two terms, white matter and grey matter. And what are they? The part of the brain and spinal cord where myelinated nerve cells, that is nerve cells covered by myelin sheath, are present in abundance is called white matter. And the part where non-myelinated nerve cells are present is called grey matter. I will repeat. The part of the brain and spinal cord, not only the brain but also the spinal cord, also myelinated nerve cells are present or myelin sheath presence are present in abundance is called white matter. And the part where the non-myelinated nerve cells are present is called grey matter. Now, what are the functions of myelin sheath? The major functions of the myelin sheath are to provide nutrients and oxygen to axon, accelerate impulses, act as an electric insulator, and protect the axon from external shocks. That is the main part, which provide nutrients and oxygen to axon, accelerate impulses, act as an electric insulator, and protect the axon from external shocks. These are provided by myelin sheath. The diagram on our left side, please look onto that. A stimulus which is marked as a red and it travels and it is denoted by an arrow mark which is in red color. Can you see? In this section we are studying the generation and transmission of impulses. How the generation or the transmission of the impulses occur. Originally, the outer surface of the plasma membrane of the neuron is positively charged and the inner surface is negatively charged. This is due to the difference in the distribution of certain ions. On to figure 1.2a. Outer surface is fully positive charged and inner side is negatively charged. When a stimulus occurs, there will be a change in the ionic configuration. The positive and negative charges interchange and this stimulus will pass through the axon and it will reach the synaptic knob or end of the nerve cell. It is a diagrammatic representation from which we can imagine how the impulses transfer through axon to axon or nerve to nerve. What we have discussed till now is stimuli, responses, impulses, nervous system, neurons, myelin sheath, structure and function of them, how the generation and transmission of impulses carrying out. Are you clear? We have to study what is synapse is. We know impulses generated in the receptor cell reaches the brain. The brain analyzes it and gives direction for proper response. Who gives directions for proper response? The brain analyzes and gives direction for proper response. It is possible by the impulses formed in a neuron are to be transmitted to other neurons and associated cells. How the impulses are transmitted? The impulses are formed in a neuron are to be transmitted to other neurons and associated cells. When we are observing the diagram shown here, it is a diagram of synapse which is marked as synaptic knob. Some round shaped structures are there and dendrite. In the arrow mark it is marked as electric impulse and the space in between the synaptic cleft. Brown objects are neurotransmitter. Then we can study it in detail. What is a synapse? Synapse is the junction between two neurons or a neuron and a muscle cell or a neuron and a glandular cells. That is, a neuron is in connection with not only neuron but also muscle cells and glandular cells also. When the electric impulses, why the term electric impulses? It is travelled in the form of electric charges. So, when the electric impulses from the axon reach the synaptic knob. What is synaptic knob? The end portion of a nerve cell. So, the electric impulses reaches the synaptic knob. Then there is a certain chemical substances are secreted from there to the synaptic cleft. What is synaptic cleft? The gap in between them. These chemical substances are called neurotransmitters. They stimulate the adjacent dendrite or cell. New electric impulses are generated. Acetylcholine and dopamine are examples of neurotransmitters. They help to regulate the speed and direction of impulses. What the neurotransmitters do? They help to regulate the speed and direction of the impulse. Once more, synapse is the junction in between the two neurons. Acetylcholine and dopamine are examples of neurotransmitters. Hope you clear? This diagram is a pictorial representation of nerve cells, how it relates with the other nerve cell, muscle cells and glandular cells. First one is showing nerve cells are interconnected or how a nerve cell connects with other nerve cells. In the second diagram, a nerve cells connects with the muscle cells. And in the third diagram, it shows a neuron is in connection with a glandular cell. That is, a nerve cell is in contact with other nerve cells, muscle cells and glandular cells. It's different types of synapses at different junctions. Look onto the picture, then you will be clearly understand. Next, different types of neurons. We have studied the structure of neuron, then different types of neuron on the basis of the direction of impulse. That is the direction of impulse from where to where. The neurons are classified into sensory neurons, motor neurons. Which are they? Sensory neurons and motor neurons. What is the function of sensory neuron? Sensory neurons are neurons which carry impulses to the brain and spinal cord. What they do? They carry impulses to the brain and spinal cord. Second one, what are motor neurons? They are neurons which carry impulses from the brain and spinal cord to various parts of the body. That is opposite to the sensory neurons function. Here in the picture, it is a cross section of a nerve. Or when we cut a nerve, we can see the axons. It is protected by external connective tissue. In the box, it is clearly given the nerves and their peculiarities and functions in the right sides. We can see one more, sensory nerve formed of sensory nerve fibers, carries impulses from various parts of the body to brain and spinal cord. Then motor nerve formed of motor nerve fibers, carries impulses from brain and spinal cord to various parts of the body. Then mixed nerve, that is formed of sensory nerve fibers and motor nerve fibers, that is mixed, carries impulses to and from the brain and spinal cord, that is to and fro movement. Once more, on the basis of the direction of impulse, neurons can be classified into sensory, motor neurons. Sensory means neurons carry impulses to the brain and spinal. Motor neurons from the brain and spinal cord to various parts of the body. When we examine the cross section of a nerve, it is composed of axon and it is externally covered with connective tissue. In the box, nerves and their peculiarities, functions. Sensory nerves formed of sensory nerve fibers. Motor nerve formed of motor nerve fibers. Mixed nerve formed of sensory as well as motor nerve fibers. Functions you have studied before. Now we can study the nervous system. The nervous system consists of two parts. Nervous system consists of two parts. How many parts? Two parts. Namely, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. These are the two main parts of nervous system. Next part, the nervous system is in detail. Here the diagram is showing the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. That is illustration 1.6 in your textbook. The nervous system consists of two parts, or central nervous system and peripheral nervous system forms the nervous system. What we can see in the first picture, the brain and spinal cord are marked. From this we can understand the brain and spinal cord are the main part of the central nervous system, isn't it? In the second picture, there is written cranial nerves 12 pair, spinal nerves 31 pair. That is, the central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system consists of cranial nerves, 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Next part is for ears. What they are showing, nervous system is divided into two parts. Which are they? Central nervous system, and there is a given a box which is not filled. What will be the answer? Yes, it is the peripheral nervous system. Got it? Then the central nervous system is divided into brain and dash. What it is? It is spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord constitute the central nervous system. The next part is of peripheral nervous system. They will divide into what? cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Don't forget the number of pairs of cranial nerves and spinal nerves. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. That's all for today. Hope you all could understand the class very well. Keep watching and supporting. If you have any doubt, please mention in comment box. It will be cleared soon. So thank you.